Hi, everybody. Welcome to North of MAGA. I'm your host, Pierre Shields. And today we're going to be taking a look at Venezuela. Is the empire going to invade Venezuela, or are they just kind of trying to scare people? Let's take a look. Let's ask a question that almost nobody in mainstream media is asking directly. Is the United States actually preparing to invade Venezuela, or is something more subtle happening in the Caribbean right now? On the surface, Washington says that it's just all part of an anti-drug trafficking mission. But when you look at the scale of the military buildup, it raises more questions than it answers. The quiet buildup. Over the last 2 months, the US has quietly moved a significant amount of naval force into the Caribbean. We're talking amphibious assault ships, destroyers, an attack submarine, reconnaissance aircraft, and more than 4,500 Marines and sailors positioned near Venezuelan waters. At the same time, 10 F-35 stealth fighters have been sent to Puerto Rico, a territory that suddenly looks less like an island vacation spot and more like a forward operating hub. And something else happened that almost went unnoticed. The US has reopened Naval Station Roosevelt Roads in Puerto Rico, a base that had been shut down since 2004. It's active again, fully operational. Now, do you open a military base, deploy stealth aircraft, and position guided missile destroyers just to chase cocaine speedboats? Just asking questions. Surveillance takes priority. Over 200 US military flights have been recorded in the region between mid-August and mid-October. That includes intelligence gathering planes, mid-air refueling tankers, and P-8 Poseidon aircraft, which are normally used for high-end surveillance and signals intelligence. What's interesting is that some of these aircraft appear to have been diverted from Europe, where tensions with Russia are ongoing. Instead of staying there, they crossed the Atlantic and ended up circling Venezuela. That's not routine drug interdiction, that's strategic surveillance. Special Forces presence. In early October, Little Bird helicopters and MH-60M Blackhawks, the kind of aircraft used by U.S. military special forces for precision missions, were seen training off the coast of Trinidad and Tobago. Let's be honest, these are not Coast Guard assets. These are aircraft you use when you want rapid insertion capability, when you want to send a message that you can move elite teams anywhere at any moment. The official explanation. The official line from Washington is simple. This is a counter-narcotics operation. But even members of the U.S. foreign policy establishment don't fully buy that. Elliot Abrams, the former U.S. envoy to Venezuela, said, "The military presence in the Caribbean is too big for just hitting a few speedboats, though it's not big enough for an invasion of Venezuela." So if it's too big for interdiction but too small for an invasion, then what exactly is it for? Pressure without occupation. Peter Singer, a defense strategist, put it this way: it's enough to cause pain, but not to seize terrain. Think about it. Enough firepower to strike, but not enough to occupy. Right now, U.S. naval ships in the region are capable of launching Tomahawk missiles. They don't need ground troops to destabilize command centers or energy infrastructure. They just need to be in range, and they are. A show of reach. Just days ago, B-52 strategic bombers flew within 48 miles of Venezuelan territory, lingering for 4 hours along the coastline. They stayed in international airspace, but close enough to demonstrate one thing very clearly: we can reach you anytime we decide to. Around the same period, live fire exercises took place in those same waters. So again, this is not just about positioning, this is active signal projection, Venezuela's defense. Now, Venezuela is not a major military power by global standards, but it does have Russian-made S-300 missile systems, anti-aircraft guns, shoulder-launched defenses, and a fleet of F-16 fighters. And more importantly, Venezuela is geographically complex, full of jungles, mountains, and dense urban centers. It's not Iraq in 2003. It's not a desert war. And the US hasn't fought a tropical land conflict of this scale in 2 entire generations. So what's really going on? Let's connect what we've seen. Reopening military bases that were shut down for decades. Stealth fighters and drones rotating through Puerto Rico. 200 plus intelligence flights. B-52 bombers cruising just off Venezuelan shores. Live ammunition drills in the exact same zone. Now here's the uncomfortable question. Is this truly just about drug boats? Why does it look so much like the early stage of a pressure doctrine? Why divert intelligent aircraft from European theaters during a period of global tension just to operate in Caribbean airspace? Why conduct 4-hour-long bomber runs within visual distance of Venezuelan territory? So, is the United States preparing to invade Venezuela? Based on the assets deployed, probably not. At least not yet. But are they setting the stage? Building leverage? Letting Caracas know that every move is being watched? That seems far more likely. Because sometimes you don't need to fire a shot to force a decision. Sometimes all you need to do is show up with enough force that everyone understands what could happen next. And right now, that's what's happening in the Caribbean. If you enjoyed this recap, please like and subscribe and leave your opinion in the comments. Is this going to escalate or not? I have a shameless plug. I wrote 2 digital marketing books last year. They will be out and available at Amazon for Christmas buyers. If you know anybody who's into digital marketing or who needs a little bit of help or just needs a little bit of fun reading. The books are humbly named The Definitive Guide to Digital Marketing and The Definitive Guide to Search Engine Optimization. I'm going to put the link down below. Again, as I said, they're available on Amazon. Thanks for spending time with me. I'm your host, Pierre Shields, and this has been North of MAGA. Go play outside.